I'd like to call to order the Board of Aviation Commissioners monthly meeting, December 19th, 2019. Members present, myself, Kirk Hunter, T.Y. Okeson, Jeff Bartlett, and George Poulin. All members are present. Also in presence is Gene Simmons, City Council Liaison, and Paul Schaefer from BFNS. Everybody get a chance to read the minutes of the November 14th meeting? Yes. Get a motion to approve?
I make a motion that we approve the minutes.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Financials.
All right. So all of our airport accounts are back in the green that I have control over. The controller's office does have control over some of them that we talked about, like all of our insurance accounts. They handle all the balances in there. They also do some transfers and things like into our telephone account because they handle the Comcast for the whole city. They pay it in one fell swoop and just kind of journal entry all of us in. So some of them, as you see, just liability, auto prop, or even just liability, but those will be kind of moved around between those three accounts. We have used 95% of our operating budget this year, which is really pretty impressive. It's in fact going to be higher because the last payroll comes out tomorrow. So yeah, that's gonna take out the rest. So I'm assuming we'll probably be at like 97, 98%. You all should receive the proposal from Ramsey Sheet Metal for a permanent solution to the maintenance hangar door issue. If you recall from the November meeting, we were waiting on the estimate for the emergency maintenance hangar door repair. The door's pulling from the wood frame on the hangar, and we also have a crack in that roof support beam, as we talked about last month. TriStar door suggested we investigate reinforcing the wood with metal, or we could lose the door altogether. So Ramsey Sheet Metal actually has come out and reinforced a couple of privately owned hangars out here. Their doors, and I talked to those owners, and they highly recommend them. The tenants highly recommend them, as did TriStar Door. So the proposal is time and materials not to exceed for $6,800 for the repairs. And you should have all seen it, but I have it here if anybody needs to look at it again. And then they also recommend we add the door support arms on each side of the door, which would cost $2,480 for a not to exceed total of $9,280.
I think it's a good proposal. And I concur.
Does anybody need to see or anything?
Motion to approve that $9,280 for the repair of the maintenance hangar.
I make a motion that we, repair the maintenance hangar for $9,280 with all the details involved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay. We also have our encumbrances. So I did let the controller's office know that we're going to encumber the balance of our capital account. Those were due December 13th, I believe. But I told them I wouldn't know how much we were going to encumber or like what our balance was going to be until after this meeting. So they're expecting that tomorrow from me, the exact amount that we have if we have anything to encumber. So we'll talk about that when we get to the update on the A52 hangar. Mm-hmm. And that's it.
Fuel service?
Fuel sales. Overall, we sold 853.6 gallons of 100 low lead, 740 gallons of Jet A, and 116.4 gallons of Swift fuel in November. Our self-service price hasn't changed. None of our fuel prices have. 100 low lead self-service is $4.30 a gallon. Full service is $4.40 a gallon. Jet A is $3.30 a gallon for both self and full service, and the self-service fuel 94 is $4.43 a gallon. And NOx, man, they are really killing us right now with having their fuel price $3.97. It's $4.30 and we're closest to them, but I mean that will pull somebody. What is it? How many miles is it to fly down there to? Do you know? 8 minutes, I think, doesn't it?
Yeah,
about 8-10 minutes.
15 minutes, depending on where.
So there it is. For fuel sales. That's all I have for that.
How about hangar A5? Update.
The city IT department has finished running their fiber down to the hangar for the Wi-Fi. They're going to install it in the hangar as soon as the installation work is complete, or else the installers would just have to pull it off the wall to do the installation, so there's no reason for them to do it before then. The heater has been ordered from Friedrichs that you approved last month, and a purchase order for $3,500 has been put in to the controller's office for that. I asked if they would give us the 2 years warranty on labor instead of the 1 year. And they agreed! Agreed!
Nice.
Look at that! That
Just
was
have to ask.
exciting.
Thank you for
That
doing that.
was exciting.
Nice of them, yeah.
The installation estimates are complete now. Monpar came out here to give their actual portion of their work and the R values on their estimate as requested. Construction Unlimited gave the estimate for installing the half-inch plywood instead of the corrugated metal as requested at the last meeting. So we're ready to go for those. I can recap by telling you everything that they are again, or else we can just talk numbers. I have both in front of me, so it doesn't matter which one you want. Kirk, up to you.
So go over it if you wouldn't mind.
Okay. So to recap, the three estimates for installation are from Gluth Brothers Construction Unlimited and Rodney Brewer Construction. Gluth Brothers' estimate was $32,128. They will install joist hangers on the roof rafts, new wood on the ceiling, gridding the ceiling for 2-foot wide fiberglass bat insulation, and metal chicken wire to hold it in place. The walls would be insulated with 3-inch thick roof insulation, and the door would be insulated with 1.5-inch roof insulation. They would also install 1/2-inch by 8-foot plywood over the new insulation around the base of the 3 walls. Then Construction Unlimited estimate, we got changed from the corrugated metal to the 1/2-inch plywood, and that's $27,050. It includes vinyl face pole barn insulation to the walls and ceiling, 2-inch foil face insulation to the inside of the hangar door and door seals, and wall framing around the perimeter walls 8 foot high with the 1/2-inch plywood. And then we have Rodney Brewer construction estimate is for $28,900. The insulation part will be installed by Monpar Insulation. They will spray foam the large overhead door, install R38 craft-faced fiberglass bat insulation on the ceiling, and an R25 blown insulweb system mesh on the walls. Rodney would install 2x6 construction lumber 2 foot on center in between the truss members to hold up the batting insulation. He would install 2x6 construction lumber on all the walls every 2 foot in height to hold the new 3/4 inch wall boards. They would have to extend the electrical outlets, and in writing, if we don't want to add for the base bid, there are additional options for fire protection that weren't given by the other 2 companies. And those, for the ceiling, the door, and the walls is an additional $6,900, which would make that total base bid plus the addition fire protection $35,800.
And this was with Rodney?
Yep, that's Rodney Brewer Construction.
Well, we need all the fire retardant.
Is that the same thing as this?
Yep, that's what this is. Yep, Rodney Brewer, he's gonna do, pretty much put in all the wood and everything, and then Monpar's gonna do the installation part of it. So they're like a
Okay, so
subcontractor for it.
okay.
Well, the other 2 wanted a 1/2-inch. We've been saying that we wanted 3/4. We also said that we wanted the spray foam on the door.
Right.
So far, Rodney Brewer's company has been giving us everything that we've requested.
The only thing is, they changed the 3/4 inch that we kind of specified to 1/2 inch, so that they won't have to move.
Yeah, that was the, Construction Unlimited.
Oh, okay.
That's not Rodney Brewer, he's still doing the 3/4 inch.
Okay.
But yeah, Construction Unlimited gave us the 1/2 inch instead of the 3/4 that was requested.
And Rodney Brewer's company's got the R38 on the ceiling, and the other ones do not. They've got those lower R value.
Correct. I think one's 19.
And in the walls, it's R25, right?
Correct, they have the higher
Yeah,
R value.
R19
Right, as opposed,
is
as
with
a,
Construction Unlimited.
I'm thinking we should go with the Rodney Brewer.
The Gluth Brothers is actually R17.4.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that's low.
anybody want to comment on that? What do you think, Greg?
I'll make a motion that we accept Rodney Brewer's bid.
That's a,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And that's with the fire protection, correct?
yes, everything included.
Okay.
Perfect.
Jeff, you seconded that, right?
No, that was,
Okay.
yeah.
Alrighty.
Legislative luncheon.
Legislative luncheon was December 6th here at the airport. It was catered by Scartosi's. We discussed the status of aviation in our state, Aviation Indiana's 2020 legislative agenda, and current and future projects for our airport and the Port Airport. It was very nice. We had 2 legislators attend and 12 others between our 2 airports.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was really great. We enjoyed the conversation, and Bart always comes in. Paul was here. Wilpert sent somebody for LaPorte, which was Chris Schneider. So they all rode together up from Indy, Bart and Paul and Chris. So yeah, it was really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, excellent lunch.
Jim Pressler and
Michael Hutchins,
Uh,
who are both pilots. And they both got the Legislator of the Year awards from AI last year
Very good.
at this thing, so
It's
yeah.
nice to have them in our
And
backyard.
we invited Pat Boyd, but she had another meeting that she was attending, and she couldn't miss it because it was in Puerto Rico or something like. I'm like, are you sure you don't want to come to ours? Because it sounds way better.
It sounds warmer in Puerto Rico.
Right.
And so she was not able to attend. I know, right?
All right.
So that's all
Tell
I
us
have
about
for
the
that.
emergency radio.
Yeah, so we did have 2 new aviation handheld radios delivered and a base unit installed on the tractor this past week. Our tractor has never had a base unit, so we've always used a handheld in there. And with our new brush and all the new electrical equipment in there, all it does is static the whole time, so you can't hear anybody coming over the radio anyways. And so when they're plowing, that's obviously really dangerous on the runway, and we had the extra money to do it, so we had to do it.
Good.
Our 2 handheld radios also were not working very well. Sometimes you could hear people come over, sometimes you couldn't. The last time we bought handheld radios, I believe, was about 7 years ago, so it was time for an upgrade. So we got those 2. We went with emergency radio services. They have done the radios for a lot of other city departments, and the IT uses them for a lot of their needs. So I got that from them on who to call for that. So yeah, and the base unit's working great. Actually, we did have an issue. Rudy came out to brush the runway, and it was still kind of dark outside. It was a little early, and so he had the headlights on, and it was static from the base unit. So we're like, you know, so they actually came out and troubleshot and fixed it to where, you know, now it's working.
The lights
even
can
with
run
lights
without
on.
the static.
Yeah,
Nice.
so we were really happy. They just fixed it. I don't know what they did.
A little bit of
He was out
interference,
there-
I guess, with that
Yeah,
light.
he was
so.
out there for,
Yeah,
Quite.
Speedway came out.
yeah, like half a day he was out here and got it all working. So we're happy.
Good,
Nice.
good.
So there's that.
But the tractor's down, what's going on with that?
Yeah, so we have an electrical issue with the tractor that has nothing to do with the new radios. I swear I was there before you. So we're gonna try and see if central maintenance can come out, maybe, and troubleshoot. I don't know if they'll be able to do that, or else we'll have to call New Holland. The problem with New Holland is they're like way across the state, you know, so that's gonna be quite the bill if they have to come out here. So what happens is the dash lights don't go off and the fuel pump stays running when the tractor's turned off. So at first, New Holland thought that it was an ignition switch, so they sent a new one of those. It was installed. That didn't solve the problem. So then they pulled all the fuses, all the relays. They troubleshot with New Holland the best they could. And so New Holland says that, you know, it's obviously an issue that they're going to have to come out and look at because they feel like it's the dash cluster, which is like a big deal, I guess. It's like all the electrical behind the dash, and it's like for the whole display, and like they have to replace that. It cannot be done in-house. It has to be done by them. Or they think that it could be a wire disconnected under the seat. There's like a big cluster of wires down there through this harness and stuff, so that's something else that they would have to come out and do. That can't be done in-house either. So that's just something that we're dealing with that we'll have to get figured out. So right now we just literally have to pretty much always put it on a battery charger if it's going to snow or something, or else it just kills
Because
it.
it's draining.
Correct.
Can you just disconnect the battery?
I don't know.
It's probably easier just to hook up the cables, terminals, and let it charge all night.
Yeah, when we know there's going to be, because I mean it's supposed to be almost 50 degrees on Monday, so hard we're doing up there with that. But yeah, I'm going to have to call them and have them come out. But I first want to reach out to central maintenance to see if for some reason they've done other little stuff like change oil and things like that. I don't know if they're going to be super excited about like pulling apart the electrical system, but it's worth a
I
shot.
bet not, but yeah.
That's good.
So
Yeah, we don't want somebody, well, I'm not gonna impugn somebody's abilities, but, you know, we don't wanna be an experiment right when winter's on the way, so.
that's true.
Google it. I'm sure they'll be
Yeah,
like.
I mean,
right.
I'll go look at it. That'd be
Yeah,
fun, but
Google.
it's not gonna like the result.
Right.
Yeah.
I fix it or something.
Outsource. Okay, yeah, we'll call New Holland. And the last thing I have is high school drone camp.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it should be really fun. So Johnny Stemley and I and Nancy, who is our scholarship director, Promise Scholarship Director, and a gentleman named Carlton Bishop. He's a certified FAA drone pilot, and he owns a local marketing company here in town. So we've been kind of getting together on Mondays to talk about this cool camp. and we're hoping to get it privately funded. So we hope to raise $5,000 for the camp. And this is something that would be like a week-long camp, sometime in the summer. We're actually working on an application now, and it's actually pretty good already. We're gonna have a cover sheet. Since Carlton's does his marketing firm, he wants to put together like a little video, just like kind of get high schoolers interested and excited about kind of the camp and applying for it. And
How many students are they?
we're not really sure. We're still kind of in the super beginning stages to where we're trying to figure out how many students would work, and because in order to do the program, we would probably need like little computers for all of them. So we're thinking that maybe we can use the city hall just because they have the EOC room and they have all those computers set up. So we're hoping maybe to either have IT bring some up here. We're in like really beginning stages of that, but we should. January, we're having a big meeting about it, and so we should be a little better knowing kind of like what week we're trying to hit and how many kids and how much public or private donations that we've gotten so far, because I know Johnny's also trying, and I'll try and hit.
Is this a program that they know already exists? They're just going to piggyback on?
Well, I mean, there are lots of airports that do like drone
Yeah.
camps across the country and things. But I don't believe, not this particular one, we're
Okay.
just throwing it together like we
Okay.
love to do.
What are the computers for?
So they're gonna take all the pictures and then come back in and kind of work their pictures. They're doing like marketing side of it and like the artistic side of the whole drone idea.
Well, I'm just saying, every high school student has a Chromebook. Can
Can they take them home in the summer and stuff?
Yeah, my daughter's got it.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying, you might be.
graduate.
Yeah, we might be able to do that then.
Like to turn me on when they
Yeah.
graduate.
So, and we're meeting with Audra Peterson and some people too with this program to see how far we can take it. But
Neat.
it's gonna be great. We have the hangar for it, the space for it, and hopefully we can get, some pilots around here kind of involved in whatever aspect they wanna be involved in, and push other programs that hopefully will be coming soon.
Sounds awesome.
Okay.
Paul, can you talk about the runway 2 improvement?
Yes. So runway 2 improvement, the status of the draft EA is the same. It's basically waiting on the ALP. We revised the ALP and submitted it back to the FAA, which includes those departure sheets. We expect the approval. Gary seems happy. We expect approval in early 2020. The ALP is not holding up any of the land acquisition at this point in time. So, and if you'll recall, we are on the discretionary candidate list for the land acquisition as approach protection. So tonight we do have an action item on the runway project. We received appraisal values from Mr. Tim Harris of Indiana Professional Appraisal Services. And this is in addition to the Larson appraisal that we had previously. So those values were presented in the executive session. And so we need to discuss if the board would like us to proceed on to making offers to the Olmsted LLC for the navigation easement and the fee simple acquisition.
Would anybody care to make a motion to that effect?
Let's see here, we can make a motion, I'll make a motion to make an offer to Olmsted for navigation easement based on the Larson and Harris appraisal.
And for Bill Nelson to negotiate that? Is that,
Yeah, and for Bill Nelson, our attorney, to
yeah.
negotiate that, yeah.
Do I have a second?
I second that.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you. That's all of runway 22 action items.
Let's see.
Do you have anything else on yours?
I have the CIP if you guys want to discuss that.
Because I don't think I put it anywhere else on here. No, I didn't, sorry.
All right, no problem.
Usually I'd have my agenda done before I get, you know what I mean, like the report, so I just throw things under you. And I didn't have that.
Sorry. The CIP, it's the second sheet in your package. This is an optimistic plan based on our last CIP meeting with the state and feds. But you'll see in 2020, we do have the Tom Blank and the Olmsted project listed there. It is on the list. So 2020 is looking pretty good. Based on the appraised values, we are basically right at that budget that we had in there. So that looks like it's coming together according to plan. In the subsequent years, time will tell as this fiscal year unfolds as they reprogram, but I don't think we should change our ask. We should keep our ask exactly the way it is, and if you total up all these numbers, you've got 17,800,000 for the runway extension, and then basically another 3.8, almost 4 for the taxiway extension. So that's the nuts and bolts of it. In the last year, we've pushed the runway overlay on the entirety to the last year, so when we get everything, we'll put a nice fresh new coat on there. And obviously the taxiway is the very last thing. We want to get the runway all constructed. The utilities,
But we'll be able to use the runway extension before that taxiway goes in, right?
yes, that's the plan.
Yeah.
We're going to create a little turnaround on the end.
Yeah.
So whatever brief period of time there is, you'll just back taxi that
If needed.
if needed.
I don't see TY back taxiing.
Right.
He might just because it'll be fun.
Yeah,
Just take off all
of
the,
course.
Before the road.
yeah.
And I would draw your attention to priority number 4, the utilities. This was a decent increase from last year's numbers. These are the numbers we're currently working with on for all of the utility relocations. So that's, otherwise, the rest of the numbers are pretty close to where we were at.
And there was a meeting yesterday, in the same period stuff.
Did you go?
No,
Okay.
just came in and told me.
Okay. So that's where we're at. So if you guys, it's not due till February 1st, but if you are pleased with the order and the priority weekend, and you want to make a motion to keep this CIP in this order and fashion, we'll put together the rest of the package for Kirk's signature and have him submit it. We don't have to wait till the end of January, is what I'm saying. Or we can wait till the January meeting, it doesn't matter. But
That'd be fine.
you want to wait till January meeting?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
All right, fine. That's all I had. Well, do you want me to talk about the maintenance bill?
No.
Okay.
I didn't have one on mine, because I
Okay.
saw it on there.
So you'll see under miscellaneous, the second bullet point. Jessica asked us under general services just to put together a procurement package for a pole barn. And the basis of this procurement package is gonna be the estimate that was generated by a local contractor, kind of sets the budget. So that budget though does not, which is $170,000, that doesn't include any site work. And so next meeting, we hope to come back with some proposed locations and a package to be able to advertise that. And the location is tricky.
Yes.
So pole barn, is that, what is the pole barn?
For the maintenance hangar.
Oh, okay, is that what you call it, pole barn?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Because it would be like a
Safe
hangar now.
okay.
Because it's actually bigger than the building you have here, and so keeping it close proximity to this building, so when employees are here by themselves, when they're in the maintenance building, they can get back over to quickly do line service is pretty critical. We're kind of limited on spots on that. I've got some ideas, but it is a little bigger than this building that you have. Now, it's not based on the estimate that we got, it doesn't have a big aircraft hangar door. It's
No.
got garage bay doors on it. So it doesn't need nearly as much room in front of it. But, some of the ideas we're torn with are, right behind this building, maybe over here, but we're got to look at the future transient, larger corporate size hangar. We don't want to take up too much real estate over there. When you start getting over here, the distance between this building and the maintenance building could be problematic. And we have some other properties up off of that old county road that was closed, and we've got some property down here on the other end that you could put it on, but then they start becoming pretty remote.
Distance.
The location I'm liking most right now is kind of behind here. And if you remember, you've got, between us and the fire station, there's actually like an old right-of-way that you own back there. I think we take it and we try to reclaim some of that property. There's an extra 30 feet back there that we can get, cut out that fence row between the two and open up that and maybe push it back that way with the bays facing east. So the bays would face east, and then we just put a gravel drive in there until you have enough money to pave and expand the parking lot in front of it. So all the maintenance equipment would dump out basically behind the building. You'd have to go through the gate to plow snow and stuff like that. But that's what I'm thinking looks the best right now.
And then the fence goes behind it. Yeah, okay.
There wouldn't be, you wouldn't want to come over this way with it, as opposed to running through the gate? Have their own.
No, it would be this.
Yeah, I mean, we could try to create a drive. I mean, ultimately, we were looking at a kind of a corporate size facility out at the end of the apron, which we kind of looked at. There's some wetland issues in the woods, but there's enough room to get a driveway through the corner. We could look at going ahead and cutting that driveway in there and maybe putting a gate over there, but this gate's all automated, so you probably wouldn't be that big a deal to run through that. Or I suppose you could put the driveway in and reroute the fence around the maintenance building, then you wouldn't have a gate to go through at all, if that's your point.
Yeah.
But it's money. How much did you get appropriated? 170?
170, I think, or something in there.
Right, and see, that doesn't include any gravel driveways or fence or any drainage pipes that we might need in there, so we want to probably try to keep that as minimal as we can to stay close to the 170.
Does this include the electrical work?
Yes.
Install 2.5 electrical service.
No, that's just the meter.
Paul, when you say does not include site work, what does that mean?
Well, so basically, that's everything inside the building walls,
Okay.
but if you put the gravel
All right,
driveway.
so you're talking about, okay.
Right, and you want to, slope the ground away from the building so the water runs away. And
Okay.
then you gotta make a ditch or put some pipes in to take the water away. Those pipes, the ditch.
Okay, I got it now. I was thinking they had to, I got it.
Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so the site number could really go up or down depending on where we decide to put it.
Anything more we need to talk about on the town-wide purchase agreement?
Town blank is so we have to refresh your memory, we have a purchase agreement drafted and we negotiated, and basically the negotiations have gone well, and we are waiting until we get to the same point with Olmsted before we can finalize the Tone Blank purchase agreement.
Right.
But, yeah, we're in a good spot there. We have had communications with Tone and Blank, and they understand where we're at right now.
Good. Good clean target. Okay. Nineteenth. And one footnote on the bottom of the our roofing proposal, it says it talks about getting city water and sewage to the buildings, it would decrease the estimate by $7,000 if we could get that. So, what's the building on now?
What's what building?
Is it on, we're on city here, all right?
Yeah,
No, they don't have it over there.
no, we don't have anything ran that way at all.
Well, no,
It's just ran to here.
yeah. But it wouldn't, it shouldn't be any big deal to tie in. Okay. They say it's unclear, I don't know why this.
Well, so that quote was obtained just to see the scale of the project. So if it's under $150,000, you could solicit quotes for the project. But we really didn't know exactly where it would be. So Jessica solicited that quote. That it is not less than $150,000, so it's going to require us to bid it by the state statutes require us to do a public works project. So we'll have to procure it with bids. So I wouldn't really get too in the weeds on that right now. That was more of a, hey, where are we at?
We need to know if we were above or below 150,000. That's what we were.
What's shape of distributed?
That's the vending machine.
Oh, that's right.
I'll make a motion to approve the claims docket for $18,910.01.
Second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. I think we're done. Can we get a motion to adjourn? What?
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting, December
Second.
19th.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned.